Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a deeply profound concept that affects absolutely every single one of us, our own sense of self-worth. You know, we live in a world that is just obsessed with perfection, right? A world where we're constantly measuring our output, our efficiency, and our value against this impossible, flawless standard. But what if the very things we perceive as our greatest weaknesses are actually our most profound assets? Well, today, we're breaking down a beautifully timeless story that challenges literally everything we think we know about value, purpose, and the hidden power of our flaws. Okay, let's dive into this with an incredibly striking thought from our source material. There's this saying that when we look up at the moon, we're completely captivated by its beauty. When we look at the blazing sun, we're struck by its sheer brilliance and power. But the source notes, when we look in the mirror, we are actually looking at the loveliest creation of all, ourselves. The fundamental takeaway here is that we absolutely must learn to truly trust and believe in ourselves long before we go seeking validation from the outside world. And really, it sets the perfect psychological stage for the story we're about to unpack. Section 1. God's loveliest creation. So, keeping that philosophical hook in mind, let's step back in time into an ancient folktale to analyze its deeper meaning.
Section 2. A farmer and two pots. Picture this scene. An ancient farmer who walks daily to a pond with a wooden pole and two old pots resting heavy on his shoulders, just to fetch water.
So let's look at the baseline normal for this story. Every single morning, this farmer makes a grueling truck. On the left side, we have the perfect pot. It does its job flawlessly, retaining every single drop of water from the pond all the way back to the house. And unsurprisingly, it is incredibly proud of its efficiency. But on the right side, we have the cracked pot. Because of a fracture in its side, it constantly leaks water along that long journey home. By the time it actually reaches the house, it's only half full, leaving it burdened with a deep, consuming sense of shame about its flaw. And this brilliantly illustrates the cracked pot's perceived failure. It's almost like an ancient performance review, really. The expected yield for the farmer's immense physical effort is 2 full pots, but the actual delivered yield, just 1.5. In the cracked pot's mind, this gap is a total disaster. It feels directly responsible for wasting a significant portion of the farmer's hard, daily labor. Section 3. The cracked pot's deep sadness. And as you might imagine, the emotional weight of this is starting to get incredibly heavy. Day after day, this perceived failure takes a severe emotional toll, plunging the cracked pot into a deep sadness and depression. It's that awful feeling when you believe you're structurally incapable of meeting the standard. And making matters so much worse is the environment. The perfect pot is incredibly arrogant, constantly taunting the cracked pot, saying things like, "Look at me, I do all the work and I don't waste his effort. You are useless." It even plants this terrifying seed of anxiety, claiming that the farmer is going to throw the cracked pot in the trash and replace it. Finally, the emotional weight just becomes too much to bear. The cracked pot reaches its breaking point. It gathers its courage and confronts the farmer directly with a heartbreaking plea. It says, "Master, you work so incredibly hard every day, but because of my flaw, half of the water is wasted on the path. It is time to leave me behind. You need to get a new pot." It hurts to say, but it truly believes it has absolutely no value left. But here's where things shift. The farmer doesn't get angry. He doesn't agree to throw the pot away. Instead, he simply smiles with deep warmth. He tells the pot, "Don't be sad. Don't make your heart so small." He then gives the pot a very specific instruction. He tells it that tomorrow morning, when they make the long walk back from the pond, he wants the pot to pay really close attention to something on the side of the path. Section 4, the colorful flowers on the path. So let's fast forward to a slightly brighter next morning. The farmer hangs both pots and begins the long walk home. Doing exactly what the farmer asked, the cracked pot looks down. And right there, along the edge of the dirt path, it sees the most gorgeous, brilliantly blooming, colorful flowers. They're just vibrant and full of life. For a fleeting moment, this sudden burst of beauty genuinely brings a wave of happiness and washes away its deep sadness. But as soon as they reach the house, reality sets in again. The number 1.5. Once again, despite those beautiful sights on the walk, the cracked pot realizes it leaked water the entire way. Only 1.5 pots of water have successfully arrived at the house. The fleeting joy just vanishes, and the pot is immediately devastated all over again, apologizing profusely to the farmer for ruining his hard work. Section 5, the farmer's different perspective. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the pivotal conversation that happens next. Instead of just saying, "The lost water doesn't matter," the farmer gently asks, Did you see the flowers? Did you like them? The pot admits the path was beautiful, but it's still utterly consumed by its failure to deliver a full payload of water. And then the farmer drops this massive twist. He says, "Do you know why those flowers were there? Did you notice they were only on your side of the path? Those flowers bloomed entirely because of you. I knew about your flaw all along, and I made it your strength." Look at how brilliantly the farmer engineered this entire outcome. First, he noticed the pot's leak. He didn't ignore it. He accepted it as a fact. Second, he went to the market and bought flower seeds. Third, he planted those seeds exclusively along the side of the dirt path where the cracked pot always hung. And fourth, he simply let the pot do what it naturally did, leak. Day by day, as the pot thought it was failing, it was actually perfectly watering a garden. The farmer intentionally decorated the entire path not in spite of the pot's flaw, but precisely because of it. Section 6. Make your flaws your strength. Now let's pivot and connect this ancient fable to our own modern lives. So the crucial point is that this story is a striking mirror for human psychology. First off, nobody in this world is perfect. It's an absolute myth. We all have our own leaks, our own cracks, our own flaws. But if we recognize those leaks and find the right environment, our flaws literally become strengths. The perfect pot only delivered water, but the cracked pot delivered water and created an entire, beautiful garden. A repurposed flaw can make your overall value infinitely greater than baseline perfection. And that is exactly why you must accept yourself exactly as you are. We want to leave you with this final, really powerful question to spark some deep self-reflection. Instead of hiding your cracks or feeling shame about the areas where you maybe don't measure up to the perfect pots around you, ask yourself, how can you reframe your own biggest flaw into your most unique hidden strength? Seriously, what seeds could you be watering right now if you just changed your perspective? Keep that in mind the next time you look in the mirror. Thank you so much for joining us for this explainer, and we will see you next time.